And we turn now to campaign 2016 and our new Battleground Tracker results. Donald Trump is back on top in our Iowa tracking. He's at 39%. Ted Cruz is behind him by just 5 points at 34%. Marco Rubio is running third at 13%, and the rest are at 5% and below. In New Hampshire, Trump has a big lead with 34% compared to Ted Cruz at 16%, Rubio at 14%, Kasich at 10%, the rest of the field at 7% or less. And in South Carolina, the story is much the same. Trump ahead at 40%, Cruz in second with 21%, Rubio in third with 13%, the others all at 9% or less. The bad weather kept us snowed in here in Washington and unable to sit down with Donald Trump in person, so he is joining us by phone this morning from Pella, Iowa. Good morning, Mr. Trump. Thanks for joining us. You said yesterday you could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose voters. You're that confident, huh?
Well, I have a very great group of people, John. I mean, I have people that are so loyal, and it's been so reported, and even in your poll, but in a lot of the polls, they do that, the loyalty factor. And my factor is up when you add it all up. It's pretty much close to 90%. These are people that just won't leave. They will not leave. I love my people, and it's a great thing. I mean, it's a great thing. Far greater loyalty than any other candidate by double, triple, quadruple, and I love my people.
And on the one hand, you have your people, and then this week, on the other hand, you had the National Review putting out a special issue trying to convince people not to support you, not to vote you. Why do you think they did that? What was their reasoning, do you think?
Well, it's a failing magazine, number one. They need publicity. They are people that, most of whom I don't know, most of whom, don't forget, I've been in business. I've made a lot of money, which I'm going to do for the country now. I've been focused on jobs and money and deals, and that's what I do. And that's what the country needs. These are people, for the most part, I don't know. I don't even know who most of them are. I don't want to know who most of them are. And they're just people that are, I guess, trying to save a magazine that's close to closing up. And, they're going to get publicity. And I actually think it plays into what I'm saying because it shows the divisiveness. They backed Romney, he lost. They backed McCain, he lost. They lose, and they don't know how to win. And I'm not sure they even want to win. They just want to stay relevant. And they're very irrelevant.
They make an argument in the magazine that Ted Cruz has also made, which is that you're not, and this is the phrase, a consistent conservative, that you've changed your positions on some things over time. What's your response to that critique?
Well, usually I just evoke the name Ronald Reagan. I mean, Ronald Reagan was a fairly liberal Democrat, and he evolved over years, and he became more and more conservative. And he was not a very conservative person, but he was pretty conservative, and he ended up being a great president. And I have evolved on many issues, and on some issues I'm very much the same. I've been constant on many issues, but I have evolved on certain issues, and I think evolved, through experience and through, as you grow older, you see things and you watch things and you study things. But Ronald Reagan was the exact same thing. He was actually much more liberal than I was. He was fairly liberal as a Democrat, but a lot of people don't know that. And he became a fairly conservative person, but he did become a great president.
What's your definition of conservative?
Well, I think it's a person that doesn't want to take overly risk. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a person that wants to, in terms of government I'm talking about, a person that wants to conserve, a person that wants to, in a financial sense, balance budgets, a person that feels strongly about the military, and I feel very strongly about the military. And, you have some of these people, they don't even want to focus on the military. Our military is falling apart. I feel I always have felt very, very strongly about the military. By the way, if you look at vision, when you look at the word vision, I was the one that said, take the oil. I've been saying that for years. And I said, take the oil, let's take the oil. And nobody would listen. Then all of a sudden, after Paris, they started saying, maybe that's right, we'll take the oil. They still don't do it the proper way.
You mean from ISIS?
I was, which is a little bit different than a normal conservative, but I was very much opposed to the war in Iraq. A lot of these guys were all for the war in Iraq. Look what that's got us. We spent $2 trillion. We lost thousands of lives. We have nothing. We're now handing Iraq over, just handing it over to Iran. Iran is going to take over Iraq. And I said that was going to happen. I said that years ago, at 2003, 2004, that Iran will take over Iraq with the largest oil reserves in the world. And that's not a conservative position. When I was, saying don't go into Iraq, I'm a very militaristic person. I'm very much into the military, and we'll build our military bigger, better, stronger than ever before. But and that's safe. That's actually the cheapest thing to do as opposed to what we have right now. But I was opposed to the war in Iraq. Most conservatives were, let's go gung-ho. I mean, these guys, just about all of them, every one of them wanted the war in Iraq. Look what it got us.